The rain had just started falling on a quiet afternoon in a small American town. People hurried past each other on the sidewalk, heads down, focused on their own busy lives. No one noticed the small child sitting alone on a bench outside a grocery store, tears running down his cheeks, his tiny hands shaking as he tried to wipe them away. But one man noticed, and the simple choice he made in that moment, to stop and show kindness, would change his life forever in ways he never could have imagined. Before we begin, if stories about kindness and humanity inspire you, make sure to subscribe to our channel Kindness Story Hub, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us share more powerful stories that remind the world how much kindness still exists. Now let's begin. Michael Carter was just an ordinary man living an ordinary life in Ohio. He was 37 years old, worked as a mechanic, and spent most of his days fixing cars in a small auto shop on the edge of town. Life hadn't always been easy for him. A few years earlier, his wife had passed away after a long illness, leaving Michael to raise their young daughter alone. But even through the hardest times, Michael believed in one simple rule his father had taught him when he was young: if you can help someone, you should. That rainy afternoon, Michael had just finished buying groceries when he heard something that made him stop. A child crying, not the loud, angry crying of a tantrum. This was quiet, scared crying, the kind that comes from feeling completely alone. Michael turned his head and spotted the little boy sitting on the bench near the entrance. The boy looked about 5 years old, wearing a small red jacket that was already getting wet from the rain. His face was pale, and his eyes were full of panic. Most people walked past him without stopping. Michael couldn't. He walked over slowly and crouched down so he wouldn't scare the child. "Hey there, buddy," Michael said gently. "Are you okay?" The boy looked up, startled, his cheeks streaked with tears. I can't find my mom," he whispered. Michael's heart tightened. "What's your name?" he asked. "Ethan." The boy sniffled. "Well, Ethan," Michael said with a reassuring smile, "don't worry. We're going to find her." The boy nodded, though he still looked frightened. Michael grabbed a small napkin from his grocery bag and handed it to him. "First thing," Michael said kindly, "let's dry those tears. Your mom's going to want to see that brave face when we find her." Ethan wiped his eyes. Michael guided the boy under the store awning so he wouldn't get soaked. Then he walked inside and spoke with the store manager, explaining that the child appeared to be lost. Within minutes, an announcement echoed through the store: "If anyone is looking for a young boy named Ethan wearing a red jacket, please come to the front entrance." They waited. 5 minutes passed, then 10. Ethan's small hand had slowly found its way into Michael's, gripping it tightly. "You won't leave me, right?" the boy asked quietly. Michael squeezed his hand gently. "I'm right here," he said. Just as worry began creeping into Michael's mind, a woman suddenly rushed toward them from the parking lot, her face filled with panic. "Ethan," she cried. The boy's eyes lit up instantly. "Mom." He ran into her arms, and she hugged him so tightly it looked like she would never let go. "Oh my God," she said, tears in her eyes. "I turned around for 1 second and you were gone. I've been searching everywhere." Then she looked up at Michael. "You found him?" Michael smiled modestly. "He found me first," he said. "He was just a little scared." The woman exhaled in relief. "Thank you," she said sincerely. "You have no idea how much this means." Michael shrugged lightly. "It's nothing," he replied, but the woman looked at him carefully, as if memorizing his face. "Well," she said softly, "it's not nothing to me." Michael wished them a good day, picked up his grocery bags, and walked back to his truck. To him, it was just a small act of kindness. He had no idea what was about to happen next. The following morning, Michael arrived at his auto shop like any other day, but something felt different. Outside the shop sat a sleek black SUV that definitely didn't belong to any of his usual customers. Inside the office stood a well-dressed man in a suit speaking with Michael's boss. The moment Michael walked in, the man turned and smiled. "Are you Michael Carter?" he asked. Michael nodded cautiously. "Yeah. That's me." The man stepped forward and shook his hand firmly. "My name is Daniel Harper," he said. "I believe you helped my sister and nephew yesterday." Michael blinked in surprise. "You mean Ethan?" Daniel nodded. My sister told me everything, he said. You stayed with him until she found him. Michael rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly. I just did what anyone would do. Daniel smiled. That's the thing, he said gently. Most people didn't. He glanced around the modest auto shop. My family runs Harper Automotive Group, he continued. Michael's eyes widened slightly. He had heard of that company. It owned dozens of dealerships across several states, Daniel continued. My nephew talks about you like you're a superhero, he said with a chuckle. Apparently you made him laugh even while he was crying. Michael laughed quietly. Well, I tried. Daniel reached into his briefcase and pulled out a small envelope. My sister wanted to thank you, he said. Michael immediately shook his head. No, I can't take money for that. Daniel raised a hand. It's not money. Michael hesitated before opening the envelope. Inside was a letter and a job offer. Daniel explained that their company was expanding a new service center not far from Michael's town. They were looking for someone experienced, honest, and trustworthy to help manage the location. My sister said something yesterday that stuck with me, Daniel said. What's that? Michael asked. She said anyone who treats a scared child with that much kindness is someone you can trust with responsibility. Michael stared at the letter, stunned. The position offered nearly double his current salary, along with full benefits and flexible hours that would allow him to spend more time with his daughter. He felt his throat tighten. You're offering me this because I helped Ethan, he asked. Daniel smiled. I'm offering it because kindness tells you more about a person than any resume ever could. Michael was speechless. Just one day earlier, he had simply stopped to comfort a crying child, and now his life was changing. A few months later, Michael was standing inside the brand new service center, watching mechanics work in the bright garage. His daughter Emma sat at a small desk in the office doing her homework, occasionally looking up and smiling at her dad. For the first time in years, life felt hopeful again. Sometimes customers would bring their kids along, and Michael always made sure to greet them with the same warm kindness he had shown Ethan that rainy afternoon, because now he understood something powerful. Kindness doesn't always change the world in big, dramatic ways. Sometimes it's just one small moment. One choice. One decision to stop, listen, and care when someone else needs it. But those small moments can create ripples you may never see coming. A crying child. A helping hand. A life forever changed. So if this story touched your heart, remember this: every single day gives us the chance to make someone's world a little brighter. You never know when one simple act of kindness might change a life, maybe even your own. And if you believe the world needs more kindness, don't forget to subscribe to Kindness Story Hub, like this video, and share in the comments a moment when someone's kindness changed your life, because kindness is contagious, and together, we can spread it everywhere.